Welcome to another book review, and today I'm going to review a book that I actually got while I was on vacation. It's called Take a Hint, Dani Brown. Now, when I bought the book, I really didn't know that this is actually a sequel to the series, but while reading it, I wasn't lost or anything. I just realized it whenever I was looking up more books by this lovely author. And that's how I figured it out. So if you do what I did and read this one first, it doesn't really mess it up, the series, because it's all about the Brown sisters. So yeah, it just clears up a few things. But anywho, we're going to talk about Take a Hint, Dani Brown. This book is by Talia Hibbert. I hope I pronounced her name right. But if not, you can see how it's spelled right there. This book basically follows Danika Brown, who is like a woman that we all tend to know. Some of us are. Professional, driven by success, driven by our careers, and not really taking into consideration our own life. She has a PhD. She's a professor of, I forgot the university's name. But she's a university professor, and, she is, just that typical, well, not typical because she's far from typical. She's a special kind of woman who basically knows what she wants, period. She doesn't believe in relationships. She believes in purely, just having friends with benefits, if you will. And you follow Danika in this journey as she's been going through a drought, and she kind of finds interest in this, kind of friend, co-worker in the building that she works. He's a security guard, and of course she's a professor. So, she's interested in him, coming off of a kind of a breakup with her former friends of benefits. She's basically in a way really intrigued by this coworker. To not give anything away, during routine fire drill, Danika gets stuck in an elevator, and the security guard named Zafir, he ends up going to go save her. Now, with today of technology, when he goes to go save her out of this elevator, he tends to carry her outside the building because they are still holding this fire drill. And with that happening, college students and cell phones, people start recording her and him as they're walking out the building, and they go viral. Now, how this makes this book a thing is Zafir is a former rugby player, professional, and he has this nonprofit that kind of deals with athletes and their mental health. So when they go viral, he sees this as an opportunity to help his nonprofit organization. So he asks Dani to basically fake date him for a while, just so that way his nonprofit can get some momentum and he can start helping more and more athletes. Of course, Danika agrees because she's like, oh, if I'm in a fake relationship with him, then, I could sleep with him, and that's what I kind of want. So, you follow Zafir and Dani on this journey of basically self-discovery. She has issues, he has issues, and they're in this fake relationship together. Dani is purely swearing off relationships because of her past, so she just wants friends with benefits, whether you're male or female. Zafir, he is all a hopeless romantic, so he doesn't believe in having friends with benefits relationships at all. So with this fake relationship, they both kind of get what they want for the time being, and you just follow on that journey as he realizes why he is so interested in romance and this nonprofit that he's starting, and Dani realizes why she swears off relationships and the true underlying factor of that. With that being said, was this a good book? Yes. Was this book hilarious? Yes. Would I rate it 8 out of 10? No, I would rate it a 10 out of 10. The books I've been reading lately have not been really, knockout fireworks. This was perfect. I bought this book on the second day of my trip. I ended up finishing it the day we arrived. The day we arrived back in town, I ended up finishing it because I was reading it kind of before each day that we were going to go explore and have fun. But I ended up making time to read this book because it was so good I could not put it down. The refreshing parts of this book for me personally was this interracial relationship that was not the typical white and black interracial. Dani's black, of course, and Zafir is Muslim. So I thought that was interesting to see interracial couple written in literature that wasn't the typical story. And this Dani Take a Hint is not your typical romantic story, which is why it's so funny because Dani is so outspoken and Zafir is the guy that you kind of know, you kind of work with. Everyone has this kind of guy that they work with that you're nice to, but you're kind of like, okay, he's over there, type of deal. And I like the fact that with a lot of things they're very honest about, especially with mental health, especially with trauma. There's all kinds of trauma out there that people really don't focus on. They focus on just the ones that check off the boxes. But there's all kinds of trauma. And there's all kinds of relationships. In this day and age, everything is becoming more out in the open, and I found it very, very enlightening that this author touched on a lot of things that people live with and live through, but just don't discuss. It's not out there. It's kind of like whispered upon, touched upon, but never brought out so other people can relate to. So if you want a little bit of change of pace, I would suggest it because, like I said, I was on vacation and I bought this book. I ended up buying this book at this cute little bookstore. They do online orders, so that's another reason why I'm speaking about it for you readers out there. The bookstore is called Mahogany Books. It was in the National Harbor area of Washington, D.C., which is where I vacationed recently. And it's a black-owned business and it supports black authors. And it has all genres of books by African American and African and British and just black authors out there. From sci-fi to comic books to children's books to fiction to romance to sci-fi to nonfiction. This bookstore sells black books. So I would suggest you check out the website. I'm gonna do my best to remember to put the web address to Mahogany Books below. If not, I will for sure add some type of information of Mahogany Books below. But that's where I bought this book, and that's kind of how the mishap happened. I was just thumbing through books really quick while I was there, checking out the bookstore, and I came across this one, and I said, you know what? I want to support this business, so I'm going to buy a book. And this is the book I bought, and I wasn't disappointed with the bookstore, and I was not disappointed with this book. So, check it out. As always, thank you for watching my lovely book review, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more book reviews and travel stuff. Thanks for watching.
We're gonna keep it low key, keep it softly spoken, with no strings tying you